Hello and welcome to Colins Time to Bake. Baking with the Bake Off. It's week 4, so this week is desserts. This week saw the bakers making something extremely technical and also something quite beautiful. A Spanish Windtorte. Made from 2 types of meringue filled with fresh fruit and cream, this magnificent tower of sugar and egg is one of Mary's Berry's cruelest things to ever hit the Bake Off tent. So I thought I'd bake it. First of all, the recipe says it's about 2 hours of prep and then about 1 to 2 hours of baking. Let's just say mine took about 5 hours. Those who have small ovens like me, you're gonna need to bake things separately, thus taking up a lot more time. You've been warned. Right, so preheat your oven to 120 degrees. Take 3 large baking trays, or in my case, 1.5 large baking trays, and then on some parchment paper, draw 5 circles 20 centimeters in diameter. If you don't know how to do this, good news! The walnut cake that you made in week 1 for the cake week has a 20 centimeter cake tin, and you just need to use the base for that. So take out the base and draw around it. It's easy. For the meringue that makes up the structure of the Windtorte, you need 8 egg whites and pour them in a bowl with half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. Beat this to stiff peaks with an electric whisk. Once you've done this, gradually add in 475 grams of caster sugar, 1 tablespoon at a time. This is going to make the meringue mix a little bit like glossy marshmallow fluff. You'll know it's ready because you can tip the bowl over without anything falling out. Try it, go on, I dare you. Take a large piping bag filled with a nozzle that has a 1.5 centimeter hole in the end and fill it in with 2/3 of the meringue mix. Now pipe a disc on the first circle. It's like colouring in the lines, but with meringue. So make a disc on the first circle, then make a disc on the second circle, and then for the final 3, you're going to want to make a hoop, the width of which should be about 1.5 inch wide. These are going to be used to create a lovely nest for your filling once you stack them on top. So place the discs and hoops in the oven onto your baking trays for about 35 to 45 minutes depending on the reliability of your oven. My oven is terrible. I really need to buy an oven thermometer. Once the meringues are golden brown, they're probably ready, if not a little bit burnt. So once they're ready, take them out of the oven and leave them to cool on a wire rack. I should just say now that I don't really like meringues, so chances are if they don't taste good, I'll have no idea. So while these are baking and cooling, it's time to make the fondant violets. You can either buy 3 different colours of ready to roll icing, or if you're like me, a little bit cheap, buy the white kind and dye it with food colouring. So you need 25 grams of dark purple, 25 grams of light purple and 10 grams of yellow. This makes each flower have 6 petals. You don't necessarily have to have 6 petals, you can use 5 or whatever you fancy. The recipe on the website says 5. I just thought 6 because it's nice and even and it had a little bit more than I thought. It's your Spanish Windtorte, you can do what you like. Once the meringues are cooled, you now need to spoon the remaining third of the first mix into the piping bag. On the base disc, pipe 8 blobs of meringue evenly spaced. Then you'll want to take one of the hoops and place this on carefully because this will break, they're quite brittle. Then pipe another 8 blobs, then place another ring, then pipe another 8 blobs, then place the final ring. Finally, fill in all the gaps around the outside and then add more to make sure that you have a smooth outside finish so it looks and resembles like a cake. Place back into the oven for 30 to 45 minutes, take out and leave to cool. The next meringue you need to make is a Swiss meringue. So we saw on Bake Off that it needs to be chewy in the middle. This is made by taking a pan of simmering hot water and placing a bowl on the top. Pour 4 egg whites and 250 grams of caster sugar into the bowl and start whisking with your electric mixer. You'll need a sugar thermometer this part, as once the sugar has dissolved, you need to heat up to 70 degrees inside the mix. My thermometer isn't really working that well, so I'll just keep mixing until I think it's ready. It seemed to take a really long time and my arm was getting quite sore. So I thought I'd just keep mixing, and yeah, that's because I'm such an expert on meringue, it seems like a sensible decision just to make it up as I go along. Once it reaches 70 degrees, or you think it's ready like I did, take off the heat and keep whisking until it's cooled down and thickened up. With this mix, scoop into another piping bag, this one fitted with a star-shaped hole at the end, because you're now going to make some decorations around the outside. Place your tower on an oven-proof plate or bowl or tray, not like me who ended up putting it straight onto my cake display and realised that you can't put that in the oven, so I had to prise it off after I did the decoration. That was really awkward. Anyway, when you put it onto your heat-proof tray or plate, pipe around the bottom edge of the tower, and then in the middle, like a belt. For the top, you need to make nice spires so that it'll reach up. When you put the lid on, you can see a little bit of the filling in between each of the peaks. Then stick in the oven again. You know the drill. On the last disc that has been sitting there patiently since the start, you need to pipe a pattern over the top and stick that in the oven too. Really? In the oven again, Mary? The decoration on the top can be as you wish. While this is baking, again, take 600 milliliters of double cream and 50 grams of icing sugar and whisk until thick and creamy. Add 1 teaspoon of orange blossom water and 400 grams of chopped strawberries, 200 grams of raspberries and stir together. This is your filling. It is delicious. Pop this in the fridge until you're ready to use it. Once the meringue tower and the lid have baked for 30 to 45 minutes, you'll probably be exhausted. Take the tower out and the lid out of the oven and then carefully place on a wire rack to cool. Once cool, spoon the fruit cream mix into your beautiful meringue receptacle, then place on the lid. Use some of the leftover meringue mix to stick on the violet flowers and ta-da! Spanish Windtorte in exchange for 5 of my life hours. Thanks, Mary. This was great fun. So the time has come to cut it. I really don't want to. I kind of think it looks really pretty. But I've got to do the taste test. I don't want to cut it. Oh. 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 Oh, it sounds like a house breaking. Well, here goes with the bottom meringue and the filling. I'm sure it's nice, but I really just don't like the texture of meringue. So for me, it's like, but it tastes nice, but I just can't handle the texture of meringue. It's just, so there you have it, Spanish Windtorte. Those of you watching Bake Off at home and thinking, man, that looks easy, I don't know why they can't do the technical challenge. Oh my days, this was a stress. This was worse than the baguettes that I even got wrong. You should check that out. Ooh. You can catch me on all the social media, and as always, don't forget to click subscribe. My name is Colin, this is Colin's Time to Bake. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.